The Joker 2 box office disaster continues by Warner Brothers, and we already know that the executives and its CEO, David Zaslav, by the way, are really going into full-on damage control mode about this actual movie by director Todd Phillips and everything else that came in between. We know that there's a lot of issues with this movie. We talked about this numerous times. There are multiple reasons why this movie is abysmal. Now, sure, some of you out there may like this film, and that's fine and okay and all, and that is free to be expressed below in the comments, but the majority do not approve of this film. It is universally rejected pretty much, and we know that those out there like Robert De Niro is having a very tough time dealing with a brand, the Joker, under Warner Brothers, not performing well at all, since he is a part of the first film and had scenes that he had filmed for the sequel that got deleted. In fact, there are many scenes that got deleted for this movie that cost millions upon millions of dollars, a lot of which had to do with Lady Gaga, as, you know, of course, her character as Harley Quinn, and the return of Murray in the form of flashbacks. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, there are many actors within the film industry that have imploded, alright, within the Hollywood bubble, alright? One of the big three ones I like to always talk about are Mark Hamill, Mark Ruffalo, and Robert De Niro is the top of the list here, in my opinion. Now, focusing on De Niro, we know that he really has been going on this blame game train of multiple movies out there failing, and multiple movies really not meeting expectations, and kind of twisting things around to fit his view of the real world, and why it really has nothing to do with the films themselves. Now, this is where things begin to get interesting, because we know that Robert De Niro has been very bitter, especially the past 6 months, 7 months, give or take, and things are only getting worse now. Now, on top of this, with the Warner Brothers executives and its CEO in freefall mode currently with the Joker 2 box office disaster starring both Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga, one monumental development going on right now involves more to do with De Niro in a bitter mood after he filmed scenes that never made it to the final cut, and how plans for Joker 3 got axed that were going to bring back his character Murray with flashbacks. Now, De Niro delivered the following just recently when discussing Lionsgate's new film, Megalopolis. As far as I'm concerned, he says, cinema in 2024 is both accurate and flawed to the madness that's going on in this world, and so when you look at the Joker sequel that Todd put together, who has amazing talent by the way, this film is an accurate representation of the world that we live in today, and it's just the insanity and the madness, you know, that's been going on. I have noticed a growing amount of people having an issue with this film because it's a musical, or that it's disingenuous to comic book fans. Whatever. Look, I have Martin Scorsese's back, and many other creators' backs, where I will be very upfront that comic book adaptations are not cinema. Which is why Todd, who I rightfully defend, took the character the Joker and turned it into an all different interpretation of all the wrongs that we are dealing with right now on the face of this earth and in this country. I know many in theater and those that do musicals, and this attack on the talents in this film is a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace, and I know where it's all coming from. It's that side, you know? We see this both with Megalopolis and this film, and how we can teach others a lesson about what's going on in this country and how we can represent that on film. I had so many conversations with both Francis and Todd and others, and I really wish I had some kind of significance in both of these films to really be a part on this stage of raising awareness to the madness and insanity. But many need to understand this is not a comic book film for comic fans. I think going back, this is why Martin said what he said about cinema and art, and how films coming from Marvel and DC stories are just not true cinema and not art at all. I have a good idea where all the negativity is coming from toward the Joker sequel, and I don't think I really need to even be vocal about that to get my message across. So guys, let me just say one thing about Robert De Niro. He is no different than Mark Hamill, pointing the finger obviously at one side for no reason at all, turning things upside down for no reason at all. We all saw what he said before a couple of days ago about Megalopolis and really associating with everything that's going on right now. And what's interesting about Robert De Niro is the fact that this man, alright, has not only flipped entirely, just like Mark Hamill has, alright, he really has no business to throw in his overall view of what's been going on in the real world into movies and kind of just shoehorning his overall view on things based on what the directors and the writers created. Makes no sense at all, and I think that this is all stemming from the fact that there were a lot of plans, by the way, we talked about this, about Murray's character coming back in flashbacks and how he was going to be very crucial to the third Joker film. There were a lot of discussions happening there between De Niro and Warner Brothers to kickstart his career in this so-called quote-unquote Joker-verse, where it was going to be like this upside-down version of the Joker, and kind of continuing on from the sequel. But what's interesting about this is the fact that we have a lot of things that Robert De Niro just keeps on going on about that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, he really is not coherent at this point in time, making absolutely no sense. He can't even put two proper sentences together that really kind of fit between. But what's interesting about this is that we know that De Niro is obviously very mad about people's opinions in this day and age and where everything is going toward 2025. I think at the end of the day, when you look at Robert De Niro, like I said earlier, he is right up there on the list with Mark Hamill, Mark Ruffalo, and among many other actors that really drag in their personal beliefs into movies and television where it doesn't really belong. And that's just a given fact, right? So, the Joker 2 sequel, right? It deserves everything that it's getting. I don't know what Todd Phillips was thinking. I don't know what Warner Brothers was thinking about creating this film. It did not need to be made. And though I have been very clear about this, I myself did not enjoy the first Joker film. Take that as you will. Some of you may disagree with me on that. Others may agree with me on that. But I did not like it at all. Now, this movie did not need to be made at all. Alright, there was no need for a sequel, there was no need to make this. It feels very much disassociated from the first one, but because, of course, he goes on to say, because we gotta do something, he states, we gotta do something. All this criticism for Todd's film is just noise. It's flat out noise and irritating, and we all know why they are acting like this. Like I said, I grew up with theater, and this is grand theater. It's unfair the way these comic fans are treating a new way of telling these characters' stories and addressing the madness. But like I said, I support those like Martin, Todd, and Francis. They are true artists who know what they are doing and how to bring something into the light, like a candle leading us through the darkness and hope. Now again, De Niro is really dragging his personal beliefs into fictional stories. This is how delusional Robert De Niro has become. And it really just is so out of this world crazy to the point where it really makes your head spin around and really, makes you question the current state of Hollywood, the current state of the film industry and where it's really going. I think there needs to be a lot of work done to who these people hire. Who Warner Brothers hires, Universal, Disney, whatever it may be. Overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.